That's better. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our annual entertainment night. I'm absolutely certain that you will enjoy the presentations tonight. As usual, the children have been working for the last 9 months getting ready for this. It's all about control, making sure everybody's under control. No, really, the kids have been working awfully hard on their presentations, and I'm certain that you will enjoy them very much. Before we start, the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders now proudly present Doc Goose.
Nurse Gosling, would you come here for a moment?
Yes, Mother Goose? Dr. Goose?
Nurse Gosling.
I'm sorry. I just get so confused. I don't know what to call you anymore.
It's really quite simple, Nurse Gosling. Here at the clinic, I'm Dr. Goose. And when you see me anywhere else in nursery land, I'm Mother Goose.
Life around here is so complicated. Not like it was in the old days.
Times change, even in nursery land. But you must admit, the so-called good old days weren't all that great. Fairy tales may end with everyone living happily ever after, but that's never been the case with nursery rhymes. With all the potential lawsuits and pressure from the head honchos in storybook land, we had to become proactive and open up this clinic.
Is that why you went to medical school and became a doctor?
That's right. There are just too many freak accidents around here. Something had to be done. Either we change the way we do things, or we'll become quaint footnotes in the history of children's literature. Then the children will have to learn their rhymes from rappers and pop singers. Have you made your rounds this morning?
Yes, doctor. The patients have had their breakfast and are ready for you to visit them. There was one problem, though.
Problem?
With little Miss Muffet.
Again?
I brought in her breakfast, and she went postal on me. She heaved her cinnamon and raisin oatmeal across the room and started slapping at herself, screaming that hairy things were crawling all over her. Then she jumped out of bed and started stomping on the raisins, screaming, "Die, die, you eight-legged hairball!" Freaked me out.
I was afraid something like that might happen. Oatmeal is too much like curds and whey. It triggered her post-traumatic stress syndrome, causing her to flash back to that unfortunate episode with the spider.
It took 3 orderlies to restrain her. I gave her the sedative you prescribed, but it still took a while for her to settle down. I had to lock her in a pumpkin shell. That ought to keep her very well.
A pumpkin shell? I suppose a rubber room would be too cost prohibitive. Let's keep her on a diet of solid foods. No oatmeal, no cream of cauliflower soup. I don't even want her to have vanilla pudding. Otherwise, she could have a total breakdown. We'll discontinue her desensitization therapy for a day or two until we can get her stabilized.
That girl is totally off her tuffet.
We're not here to judge our patients, Nurse Gosling, only to relieve their suffering as best we can. Now, could you please file these charts for me? I'm expecting a visitor later this morning, and I want everything to be in order.
Visitor?
Yes, Dr. Zhivago, Chief Medical Officer from the Storybook Land facility, is coming by for an inspection.
Inspection?
They can't understand why nursery rhyme characters aren't living happily ever after. The insurance companies want to shut down all the neighborhood clinics and transfer all our patients to the main Storybook Land facility.
Oh no! They can't do that!
Yes, they can. That's why I want to make an especially good impression on Dr. Zhivago.
You can count on me, Mother Goose. Dr. Goose. Oh dear, there I go again.
I'm going to treat a few of our outpatients. Let me know when Dr. Zhivago arrives.
Yes, doctor.
Hello, Mac Jr. How's Bessie's cap today?
Fine, Doc, fine. Betsy's daughter's attending Nursery Land U on a high jump scholarship.
I meant her leg.
Oh, poorly, Doc, poorly. Bad habits are tough to break.
Still jumping over the moon, is she?
Yep, and she ain't as sprightly as she used to be. Time was when my pa, MacDonald Sr., thought it was right amusing to see a cow jump over the moon. Made his old hound dog laugh so hard he about bust a gut. But that was many moons ago, and old Bessie just ain't got it in her no more. But it's so ingrained, she can't help but take a flying leap when the moon is full.
Yes, old MacDonald had a warped sense of humor. Never knew it was going to happen next on his farm.
You said it. Time before last, old Bessie took to the air and almost picked her out on the point of a star. Nearly gave a whole new meaning to the Milky Way.
Tisk, tisk.
I even tried tying an extra to her tail, but she took it with her and got it hung up on the man in the moon's earlobe.
There, Bessie. How does that feel now? What do you expect? I told you to stay off it, didn't I? If you keep aggravating that injury,
Not to mention aggravating me.
I may have to put you in traction. And if you're in traction, you won't be able to graze in the meadow. I'll have to feed you lawn clippings. It's still just a pulled muscle, but you've got to keep it wrapped. Readjust the bandage every couple hours or so, and keep rubbing in that liniment I gave you last time. It will help keep the muscle relaxed and warm.
Whatever you say.
And Bessie, no more jumping over the moon. Leave that to younger calves. That about wraps up old Bessie. How's your cat's violin elbow?
I've given up on that fool cat, Doc. She just won't set that fiddle down. I'm as understanding as an X-Man, Doc, but it just ain't natural for a cat to play the fiddle. With all them catgut strings and all, it's like a pig eating pork chops. What's the body to do?
Then again, her rendition of Turkey in the Straw shows remarkable sensitivity and insight.
I prefer the banjo myself.
Well, bring her in if her sore elbow flares up again. And tell her, no more Vivaldi. Too many notes.
I will, Doc. Thanks a heap.
My pleasure.
Now, come along, Bessie.
That old MacDonald sure had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. All this paperwork, and then it has to be scanned and uploaded to the main Storybook Land Medical Center. This is not why I took up medicine. I'm here to heal people, not push a pencil. Hello, do I know you?
Oh, Dr. Goose, you've got to help me. I'm desperate.
I'm having a little trouble placing your face.
I was in here just last week.
You were? How come I don't recognize you?
I'm the Crooked Man.
Crooked Man.
Yes, I live in the Crooked House, about a crooked mile from here.
Of course. Now I remember. I gave you that chiropractic treatment. Straightened you right out. You look great. Straight as an arrow. I must admit, I didn't expect so much success after only one treatment. What can I do for you?
I want you to change me back.
Change you back?
I want to be crooked again.
You're kidding. Why would you want to be crooked again?
It's just awful. First of all, being so straight now, I can't bend in either direction. I haven't been able to tie my shoes all week, which is just as well, because straight feet don't fit in crooked shoes anymore. I found a crooked sixpence, against a crooked style, and couldn't pick it up. My crooked cat won't speak to me, and the crooked mouse ran away.
I told you that your life may need some readjustment.
I want my body readjusted. Who's gonna read a story about an uncrooked man who lives in a crooked house? The meter of my rhyme is all messed up, and if I can't get my story to rhyme, I'll be evicted from nursery land.
Well, I can't very well make you crooked again. It wouldn't be ethical.
I'm going crazy. Now that I'm tall and straight, I've discovered I'm afraid of heights. I keep bumping my head on the crooked ceiling. I keep spilling food out of my crooked spoon. I can't even eat curly fries.
I wish there was something I could do.
If you don't help me, I'll do something desperate.
You don't mean...
Yes, I'll crawl inside an accordion and let someone play Flight of the Bumblebee until I'm crooked again.
You can't do it. It's not scientific.
I don't care. I've got to be the way I was before. Please, I'm begging you.
Well, all right. If you're sure you'll be happier.
Now that I know the alternative, I'll never complain about being crooked again.
All right, then. Lie down on the bench. It goes against my nature, but I've got to do it. This might be a little uncomfortable.
Try wearing crooked underwear for we can tell you about uncomfortable.
Here goes. Exhale. That ought to do it. You can stand up now.
You did it. I'm back to normal. Oh, thank you, Dr. Goose, thank you. I'll never forget this. Not if I live for 100 crooked years.
I'm glad you're happy.
You bet I am. I could wobble my knees for joy. Goodbye, Dr. Goose.
Goodbye, crooked man.
Thank you again.
Dr. Goose! Dr. Goose!
Oh, no.
Dr. Goose! Dr. Goose, come quick!
What is it, Willie?
There's something wrong with this old man.
Which old man?
You know the one that plays knick-knack on his thumb and gives a dog a bone before rolling home?
What happened?
Last night, I was running upstairs and downstairs in my nightgown, the way I usually do. And around 8 o'clock, I made my rounds through the town, checking to see if the children were in their beds.
You're lucky you got such an easy community service, wee Willie Winky. Next time, you might go to jail. Being made of snakes and snails and puppy dog tails is not a legitimate excuse for baking 24 blackbirds in a pie.
Anyway, I went up to this old man's house, and he was snoring like crazy. Shook the rafters.
Oh, is that all? It's all right. He's made an appointment for his deviated septum. The whole town is chipping in to pay for it.
And it's a good thing, too. His snoring was so bad, Simple Simon stuck pennies in his ears and a bucket on his head.
I'll have to talk to that boy. Something of a moron, but his heart's in the right place.
Then we had that big storm last night. It was raining and pouring, and still the old man was snoring, right through the thunder, lightning, and everything.
I thought that storm sounded a little strange.
I went by his house this morning, and he still hadn't gotten up.
How curious.
It was nearly 8. He still hadn't played knick-knack on his gate, and you know how he always does that.
This could be serious. Anything else?
I rapped at his window and cried through the lock, but he still wouldn't get up.
You did the right thing by coming to me, Willie.
I think he might have bumped his head on the headboard of his new waterbed.
I'll bet you're right. I told him he was too old for a waterbed, but he wouldn't listen. Said it reminded him of his good old days floating in a teacup with the baker and the candlestick maker.
What are you going to do?
Sounds like a house call to me, Willie. Let me get my bag and we'll go right over to his house. Nurse Gosling, come here, please.
Yes, Mother Goose? I mean, Dr. Goose?
I have a house call to make.
A house call?
It's one of the things that make having a neighborhood clinic superior to a big city medical center. Watch the clinic while I'm gone, will you?
You're leaving me alone? With all these sick people?
I'm sure you'll be able to handle it. Dr. Zhivago shouldn't arrive till later this morning, but if he arrives early, page me. Lead the way, Willie.
Right.
Oh dear, whatever shall I do? Oh no, another emergency! What shall I do? Oh, help! I know. I'll fill in a chart. I know how to do that. Excuse me, young man. I have some questions to ask you before Dr. Goose sees you. Won't you sit down? We won't get very far at this rate. Calm down, young man. Calm down. That's better. Last name, first name, middle initial.
Nimble, Jack B.
Nimble Jack B. I see. And who was your insurance carrier?
Fireman's Insurance.
All right. And what seems to be the trouble?
I burned my derriere.
You burned your what? Speak up.
My rear end!
Oh boy.
Where's Dr. Goose?
Dr. Goose is away on a house call, but she instructed for me to take over in her absence.
I'm not bearing my keister for anyone but Dr. Goose.
Mr. Nimble, I am a nurse. I've seen more bottoms than I care to remember.
I don't care. I want Dr. Goose.
She's not here. Oh, here we go again. Jack.
What?
How did you manage to sustain such an injury?
Well, I'm gonna be a Hollywood stuntman someday, so I'm in training. I saw this movie where this guy was in an ancient Peruvian tomb and everything was on fire. Even the floor. It was really cool.
Sounds like nonsense to me.
No, it was great. And I thought to myself, that doesn't look so hard. So I lit a candle, placed it on the floor, and backed up to the wall to get a good head start.
Oh no.
I was barreling across the room at 90 miles an hour when the clock struck 1 and a mouse ran down the clock, right into my path. I swerved to miss him, but I wasn't quite quick enough, I guess.
You mean...
That's one mouse whose clock climbing days are over.
Oh dear.
Then I lost my balance, tripped and landed.
Right on the candle.
It came as a shock, I can tell you.
You're lucky your clothes didn't catch on fire.
The flame went out the second I knocked it over. But you see...
The hot wax! You hot waxed your caboose. Soaked right through your pants and burned you. And you won't let me take a look at it?
No. And worst of all, it was on my way over here. A street vendor tried to sell me hot cross buns.
Sounds like your pride is hurt worse than your gluteus maximus.
I guess I just won't specialize in fire stunts.
Good.
But I'm working on another one. It's a high fall.
Mr. Nimble.
There's supposed to be this baby and the cradle at the top of a tree. See? Because someone thinks the wind can rock the baby to sleep.
What a ludicrous notion.
So the kid, played by me, is at the top of the tree, and the wind is blowing, and the branches are swaying. When crack, the branch holding the cradle gives way.
No one in their right mind would leave a baby in a tree.
The cradle is dangling from the broken branch by a thread. I'm falling out, clutching a blankie or something. When the bough breaks, the cradle falls, I grab onto another branch, holding on for dear life. When whoosh, another gust of wind comes through. I lose my grip and plummet down through the branches. Clunk, 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 crashing to the ground.
What are you going to land on?
What do you mean?
How are you going to break your fall?
I haven't worked out that part yet.
This is the kind of thing that only happens in nursery land. I wish Dr. Goose were here. She knocked some sense to your noggin.
Well, I better be off. I'm feeling better now.
You are?
Yeah, I guess the idea of my next stunt must have cured me.
But I've already started your chart. The Storybook Line Medical Records Division is very strict about these things.
That's not my problem.
Are you sure you're all right?
Yeah, stuntmen are tough. Besides, I'm in training.
I'll save this chart. I have a feeling you'll be back soon.
See you in the movies.
That boy should change his name from Nimble to Numbskull. I better file these charts before something else happens. If Dr. Zhivago shuts down our clinic, how would a boy like that get to the Storybook Land Medical Center? No one in all of Nurseland qualifies for a driver's license. Oh, hello, Mr. Spratt. Mrs. Spratt, how are you today?
Fine, thank you, Nurse Gosling. Where's Dr. Goose?
She had to make an emergency house call, but I'm expecting her back any time. Won't you sit down? We'll begin our exercise and nutrition session in just a minute.
Has anyone else come yet?
No, you're the first.
Maybe there's time for a trip to the snack bar. I'm starving.
Dear, we just ate before we came.
I'm hungry again.
It's because of that health food you eat. It doesn't stick to your ribs.
Alfalfa sprouts are better than greasy burgers any day.
I'll be right back. I'm just going to file this chart.
See what you've done? You've embarrassed the nurse with your bickering.
I get cranky when I'm hungry.
You lick the platter clean.
I want some more tofu couscous.
Look at me. I'm not hungry.
You've got a different metabolism.
I eat real food.
And I suppose wheat germ isn't real food.
You won't catch me eating germs or bacteria either. Yogurt? Ugh.
The live acidophilus bacteria in yogurt are an aid to human digestion. Siberians have been eating it for generations, and they live to be in their 90s.
They're probably cranky too.
Why, hello, Mr. Spratt, Mrs. Spratt.
Hello, Polly.
Did you bring anything to eat?
No, I'm sorry. Just a pot of tea.
That's all you want, buddy.
Tea is the most social beverage of all. Why, the best way to make a friend is to offer her a hot cup of tea.
That's true.
Unsalted rice cakes with nutritionally seem friendly to me.
And the varieties of tea is simply endless. There's your basic black tea, orange pekoe tea, Earl Grey tea, chamomile tea, peppermint leaf tea, hibiscus tea,
Here she goes.
rose hips tea, raspberry tea, chicory root tea, chai tea, ginger root tea, safflower petal tea, wild cherry bark tea.
There's no stopping her.
And there's so many ways to serve it. There's hot tea, iced tea, sun tea, filtered tea, tea in tea bags, caffeinated tea, decaffeinated tea.
Only one thing can shut her up when she gets going.
You're right.
Polly, put the kettle on. Polly, put the kettle on. Polly, put the kettle on. We'll all have tea.
You will? How very nice. I just so happen to have some thermoses of eucalyptus leaf tea. Very good for the sinuses.
At least it's something. I'm famished.
Tea is so civilized.
It's my life.
We know.
All rise for the Queen of Hearts.
How very kind of you, but completely unnecessary. At this clinic, we are all equals. And we each have our secret obsessions with food, and Dr. Goose is helping us all back on the road to recovery.
Every time she opens her mouth, she makes a speech.
So what is Dr. Goose anyway?
She's on a house call. I think we should start without her.
I agree. I've got to get home and get something to eat. Peter, Pumpkin Eater, gave me a recipe for dry roasted pumpkin seeds and oat bran batter.
And I have a leg of lamb roasting.
It's probably swimming in cholesterol and trans fats.
I don't care. I like leg of lamb.
Better not let little Bo Peep hear that. She's lost her sheep and doesn't know where to find them.
Just this morning, I saw that Mary had a little lamb. Maybe it's Bo Peep's.
No, she was watching it for Little Boy Blue. He's working 2 day jobs and has a night job as a security guard. Sleeps under the haystack. Poor little boy.
Well, this leg of lamb doesn't belong to Bo Peep, Mary, or Boy Blue. I got it at the market.
Enough talk about food. Let's get on with this session.
We can't very well have a nutrition lesson without Dr. Goose to lecture us.
Does anyone have anything they want to share?
I do.
Go ahead. You're among friends.
All right, I'm the Queen of Hearts, and I'm a sugar fiend.
Hello, Queen.
As you know, my need for sugar has been controlling my life for a very long time. It started when I was a child, when my father, old King Cole, taught me to add sugar to my already sugary breakfast cereal. Said it would make me a merry old soul. As a young princess, I used to hire Jack Horner and Bobby Chateau to go trick-or-treating for me. When I got married, I ate the entire wedding cake. All the guests were furious, but I just can't stop eating sweets.
There. Would you like some eucalyptus leaf tea?
Yes, please, with honey and 6 lumps of sugar. Oh no! See how it happens! My husband tried to cure me of it. Hired Wee Willie Winky to bake 4 and 20 blackbirds in a pie. Blackbirds are no replacement for lemon meringue, I can tell you. And I have a deep revulsion to eating birds while they're still singing.
I can understand that.
And the other day, I made some cherry tarts, and some neighbors stole them from me before I could eat them. I suppose you did me a favor, but if I ever get my hands on him, I'll wring his scrawny little neck.
Wow, you're even crankier than I am.
And that little shrimp, Jack Horner, helped get me started on sugar in the first place. Keeps sending me plum pies with all the plums missing. He sticks his thumb in and pulls them all out. The creep.
Clean, calm yourself.
I can't help it. I need sugar or I'll go nuts. I've tried artificial sweeteners, saccharin, aspartame, Splenda, but they just aren't the same.
There's always carob instead of chocolate.
Never!
Is there anything we can do?
Just telling my story helps.
Maybe Dr. Goose can do something for you.
I hope so. Otherwise, I'll have to go to the main Storybookland Medical Center to see a specialist. I just can't face the publicity, the paparazzi, the scandal. It would ruin me. Oh, whoa!
Maybe we should move on to the exercise portion of our session.
I agree. If we wait too long, the tea will get cold. Nurse Gosling?
Ready for your aerobic workout? All right then, everyone get in the line. Now remember, our nutrition exercise sessions at the Nursery Line Clinic emphasize a balanced diet with moderate exercise. We're not superheroes like in the mythology books. We're not interested in bulky muscles, just good health. So, as we do our routine, go at your own pace. And if anything hurts, stop. All right, now, here we go. And reach, and reach. Let's see those hot shots at Storybookland Medical Center beat that. Good job, everybody. Check your pulses and catch your breath. Since Dr. Goose isn't back yet, why don't we call it a day and make up the nutritional session at a later date?
I'm all for that. Let's see.
1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4,
Well, that wasn't so bad. Wasn't so good either. I hope Dr. Goose will be back soon. Ah, there you are.
Anything happened while I was away?
Not much. A couple of walk-ins in your nutrition support group.
You handled everything?
Of course. I'm a professional. We don't need any big-time medical center telling us how to take care of our own, do we?
That's what I hope Dr. Zhivago will say when he gets here for the inspection. I'm proud of you, Nurse Gosling. Well, I'm back now, so you can take a break.
Did your house call work out all right?
Oh, yes. As I had guessed, this old man couldn't get out of his new waterbed by himself. By the time we got there, he had sloshed around so much, he made himself seasick. Looked greener than peas porridge in the pot, 9 days old. But with a little fresh air, he is up and around and is playing knick-knack on his sticks, even as we speak.
That's a relief. Well, I guess I'll take my break.
Good idea. Maybe now I can get things ready for Dr. Zhivago's visit. Come in.
Is this the Nurseryland Clinic?
Yes, come in, won't you?
I need to see the doc.
I'm Dr. Goose. What's your name?
I'd rather not say.
Everything you tell me is confidential.
You can call me, Blondie Curls.
Blondie curls.
Yeah, I've got a problem.
Do you want to tell me about it?
It's all confidential?
Professional ethics.
Alright, I'm not from around here.
I know. I'm familiar with everyone in Nurseryland, and I don't recognize you.
I'm from the fairy tale forest.
You are? Then why don't you see Dr. Seuss? He's got a neighborhood clinic like ours in fairy tale land.
I don't want to get around, about my problem.
It's that embarrassing?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, it all started when I ran away from home.
A prescription for disaster.
Yeah, it's the same old wicked stepmother thing,
There are an awful lot of dysfunctional families in fairy tale land. It's a miracle there are so many happy endings.
So anyway, I'm tramping through the woods and I come across this house. No one's there. By this time, I'm starting to get hungry, and I see 3 bowls of porridge on the table. And I think to myself, Blondie, this is your lucky day. So I stick my nail file in the lock, fiddle around a while, and click, the door swings open.
Breaking and entering. No wonder you want to keep this visit secret.
So anyway, I taste the first bowl, and it's way too hot. Scalded my tongue. But that's not why I'm here. So anyway, I pour a bunch of milk in the second bowl, and it's way too cold and soupy. Yuck. Then I pour in just a little bit of milk in the third bowl.
And it was just right.
Too boring. Need sugar. But I was starving, so I ate it anyway. Next, I decided to case the joint. Check it out. There's this great big chair, all carved and polished. I sat in it, but it was too hard. Then there's this really cushy looking one with embroidery and doilies and stuff, but it was too soft. Then there's this little chair, a rocker, and I sat in it.
And it was just right.
Piece of junk. Fell apart out from under me. Bruised my elbow on the armrest.
Nothing I can do about that. It's not a serious bruise, and should feel better in a couple of days.
I won't come all the way over here just to show you a bruise.
Then please continue your story.
So anyway, I'm in this house, and I get hurt twice in 2 minutes. I figure I better lie down before I go into shock or something, and it just so happens there are 3 beds in the next room.
3 bowls of porridge, 3 chairs and 3 beds. I see.
The first bed was too hard. The second bed was too soft. The third bed
was just right.
No, it was filthy. It looked like somebody with muddy paws had slept in all winter. But hey, like I said, I needed a place to crash. I slept for an hour or so until I heard noises in the other room.
What did they sound like?
Voices. One was really gruff, and I thought, oh, I don't want to tangle with him. Next was all sickly sweet and soothing, and the third was a high squeaky voice. No, the kind that can peel paint off walls. They were muttering about the porridge and the chairs, so I figured I better hightail it out there before I got caught. So I jumped out the window and took off.
Any idea who they were?
Who cares? I figure I got a free meal and a nap. Trouble is, that's not all I got.
You took something with you?
Lots of things.
You don't seem to be very happy about it.
Are you kidding? What's so great about fleas?
Fleas?
It must have been that dirty bed. I'm crawling with them.
I do have some disinfectant soap. That should do the trick. Normally, fleas don't stick with humans once they've washed up. No, I want you to go right home.
Home? I'm never going back there.
Do you want to live with fleas for the rest of your life?
No way. I can't let my friends see me like this.
So you'll need to go right home and take a hot shower. Use plenty of this soap. You'll smell like a medicine cabinet for a day or two, but it will get rid of the fleas. And no more running away.
Yeah.
And no more talking back to your elders, young lady.
Okay, I'm sorry already.
Yes, you are. You're the sorriest excuse I've seen for a fairy tale character in a long time. I just can't imagine what's happening to teens today.
Can I go now?
Yes, you may. Just remember, we can't all be princes and princesses and live in castles. But we must all do the best we can with what we've been given.
Yes, ma'am.
Now run along home and take that shower, Goldilocks.
Wait, you know my real name?
I've been telling stories since before you were born. I knew you right off. But you're still a good girl at heart. Only a good girl could make up such a silly name as Blondie Curls.
Just don't tell my dad I was here, okay?
I told you everything would be confidential, and I meant it. But if you ever get into real trouble, I'll need a parent's signature to give you treatment. And don't think an apple a day will keep me away.
I'll stay out of trouble, I promise. This was way too close for comfort.
Now run along home and take that shower.
I will.
Dr. Zhivago can walk in at any time. I've got to get this clinic organized. Nurse Gosling. Ah, there you are. Are we ready for Dr. Zhivago's visit?
As ready as we'll ever be, Dr. Goose. At least the charts are in order.
I think Dr. Zhivago will be more interested in how we treat our patients and handle emergencies than with our paperwork.
The clinic itself is in a shambles. Only the files are tidy.
What's wrong now?
The 3 blind mice are stumbling around, bumping into walls. They're so disoriented. Who'd have thought mice depended so much on their tails for balance?
I wish I'd been able to recover their tails. If they would have gotten to me in time, I might have been able to reattach them.
Being that they're as blind as bats and the farmer's wife was after them with a carving knife, they're lucky they got out of her kitchen alive.
What else is wrong?
Georgie Porgy's trying to kiss all the girls again. If we don't keep him in quarantine, he'll give the chicken pox to everyone in the clinic.
That would be a crying shame. Use restraints if you have to. He's got to stay in his room.
We're all out. I'm using them on the 24 blackbirds until the burns on their wings heal. Someone sure browned their beaks.
Then put him in a pumpkin shell next to little Miss Muffet. That should keep him very well.
Yes, Doctor.
Anything else?
Old Mother Hubbard brought her dog in the back door. Thought it had a bone lodge in its throat. I performed the Heimlich maneuver. The dog's fine, but the floor needs to be mopped.
All right, then. I'll look in on the 3 blind mice and the 4 and 20 blackbirds. You get Georgie Porgy into a pumpkin shell and mop up after old Mother Hubbard's dog. With any luck, we'll finish in time for Dr. Zhivago's inspection.
Right. Oh no.
Jill, what happened?
My dumb brother Jack, that's what happened.
What's that on your brother's head?
A bucket.
Why doesn't he take it off? Is he embarrassed about a pimple on his nose? What did he say?
He said it stuck.
It was another one of those.
I know, a freak accident. They happen all the time in nursery land.
We were on our way up the hill to fetch a pail of water. It's one of those things you have to do when some goofball digs a well at the top of the hill instead of at the bottom. Anyway, Jack here was showing off as usual and tripped over a rock. First he went down, then I came tumbling after. As he was rolling down the hill, the pail somehow got stuck on his head. He was wearing a plastic crown, you know, the kind you used to get with the Happy Lunch at the London Bridge before it went under. Anyway, as near as we can figure it, the crown wedged itself tightly onto his head and embedded its points into the bucket.
It's on there, all right. Can you breathe?
What did he say?
He said yes. He just can't see where he's going.
I guess we could cut some eye holes for him. And maybe one for his mouth so he can eat.
Wouldn't it be better to take the whole bucket off?
Sure, that's a second opinion, I guess. Actually, I like your idea better.
So how are you going to get the pail off?
Sometimes when a lid is stuck on a jar, I wrap it on the counter and then twist real hard. You're right. How about if we fill the bucket with soapy water and soak his head until it comes off? Works for rings stuck on fingers. True. One more idea. We could get a power saw.
I think if we work with it, the crown will break off inside and free him. I'm sorry, Jack, but getting your head out of the bucket is more important than trying to save your plastic crown.
You don't understand, Dr. Goose. Ever since the London Bridge fell down, those Happy Lunch crowns have become collector's items.
Then why don't you and Jack put your heads together and think about this? It's either sacrifice a crown or get out a power saw.
You're worth a lot of money, but I don't know. You can't really live with a bucket on your head for the rest of your life.
Well,
Break the crown, Doc.
all right then. I'm going to need everyone's help. Jill and Nurse Gosling, take Jack's feet, and when I give you the signal, pull. I'll try and work the pail loose. Jack, lie down on the bench. Oh, that's right. You can't see anything. Nurse Gosling, lead the patient over to the bench. Everyone ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. I thought I felt something give that time. Are you all right, Jack? All right then. This time, let's give it all we got. 1, 2, 3. Come on! He's Uh-oh. Dr. Zhivago, I presume.
Oh dear.
Another of your freak accidents, Dr. Goose?
Actually, there's a logical explanation.
I'd love to hear it sometime. Meanwhile, we have an appointment.
Yes.
We were just going. Come along, Jack, Jill.
You the head doctor at Storybook Glen Medical Center?
That's right.
Quite an operation you've got there, Doc. Very impressive. My cousin Peter got some stitches after running with Wolf. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Come on, sis. Let's see if we can fix my crown.
Well, I'll leave you two alone. I have a few menial tasks to perform. Oh dear.
Sorry about the bucket.
Just a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Would you care to sit down?
Thank you. So I guess you know why I wanted to meet with you.
It's because of all the freak accidents we keep having in Nurseryland. I do my best to prevent them, but nursery rhyme characters aren't as carefully developed as fairy tale characters.
I understand. Really, I do. That's why I wanted to see you.
To close down my clinic?
To what?
You've come to close down my clinic because we aren't living happily ever after.
Whatever gave you that idea?
I just assumed, since you run a huge medical center with lots of resources, you'd assume you could do a better job than I.
But that's not at all why I'm here.
And I'm going to tell you right off, I'm not going to fight you. Your staff and equipment are far better than mine. I'll retire from medicine and go to law school.
Law school?
You'd be surprised how much crime there is in Nurseryland. Knaves stealing tarts, slumlords keeping large families in shoes, Tweedledee and Tweedledum forever getting into mischief, and somewhere out there is a crazed farmer's wife with a carving knife.
I had no idea.
So if you want to close down my clinic, I'll not stand in your way.
Dr. Goose, I'm afraid there's been a terrible misunderstanding.
There has?
Yes, I don't want to shut your clinic down.
You don't?
Good heavens, no. I want you to help me set up neighborhood clinics all over Storybrooke Land, just like yours here in Nurseryland.
You do?
Yes, our large medical centers are fine for specialized procedures and experimental surgery, but for day-to-day scrapes and bruises, there's nothing better than a small, personalized, friendly office like yours.
But I thought everyone was living happily ever after in Storybook Land.
Are you kidding? It's a madhouse over there. The Frog Prince needs daily treatments for his warts. Cinderella steps in more glass than anyone I've ever seen. And Rapunzel is clamoring for a hair transplant.
Sounds just like Nurseryland.
Worse, you have no idea how grim the Grimm Brothers stories can get. Half of Hans Christian Andersen's tales are downright gruesome, to say nothing of the folk tales and fables immigrating from all over the world.
You've got your hands full.
You said it.
Maybe if we work together, we could come up with some kind of medical system for all the children's literature.
I hope so. I was talking to Dr. Doolittle about it just the other day. Something's got to be done. What do you say, Dr. Goose? Will you help me?
Of course.
Dr. Goose, it's a code 1-2, buckle my shoe.
Code 1-2, buckle my shoe?
That means an extreme emergency. What is it?
It's horrible. I'm going to be sick. I don't know how it happened. He was up on the wall by the castle.
Who?
Humpty Dumpty. I've never seen anything so bad in all my life. All the king's horses and all the king's men.
Where is he now?
Actually, he's all over. Dr. Goose, do something.
Stay calm. Get me a sponge, a bowl, and 300 tubes of crazy glue. Stat.
Right.
I've got to go. I'm needed in Nurseryland.
May I assist you, Dr. Goose? Dr. Goose! Now that's a doctor.